Hey Tank, have a faulty fill valve in this toilet here. I'm going to just replace the entire fill valve assembly and the flapper assembly. Okay, so what I found out, this toilet takes a 3-inch valve assembly, which is uncommon. Most of your toilets will take this 2-inch kit. It tells you right here, standard size 2 inches. This toilet takes a 3-inch kit. So it's something you need to be aware of. Most of the time, the 2-inch kit is what you will have. I don't really know a way to quickly verify whether you have a 2-inch or 3-inch. I don't see where this calls itself a 3-inch anywhere. It is bigger, obviously, than the 2-inch kit. But if you weren't really looking for that, you might not catch it. So just be aware, there could be a 2-inch flush valve assembly, could be a 3-inch flush valve assembly. And that's all dictated by the size of this hole here in the bottom of your tank, which also is not labeled in any way, and it's not indicated on my label. So just be aware of that. You could have a 2-inch or 3-inch. So we're going to remove the tank. What I've done so far is turned off the water supply. I've flushed it to get most of the water out. Then I'm going to remove the rest of the water. And you can do that however you like, but I usually just get a sponge and just soak it up. And then just dispense of it there in the bowl. So soak up the water. Anything that's left in there will spill if you take that tank off. When we get the water out, we will remove 2 bolts here that hold the tank in. They're flatheads on the top side and nuts on the bottom. Okay, I've got the water out now. I just have these 2 bolts to remove. Just the largest flathead screwdriver you can find. I'm going to use my impact driver with a wide bit on it. And then this toilet's a little tricky. It's got all hidden hardware. So back behind here, I don't know if you can see or not. Back behind here, there's a nut right there. So I'll get a wrench on the nut down there and put the impact on the flat blade up on top. Got my impact in the reverse direction. See if I can get this on there. Need a little bit longer bit extension. I don't want to strip out that slot. There it goes. Okay, and there you can see the nut that was on the bottom side. It's got a little spacer on there as well. So that bolt's free. Do the same thing on this other side. So on the underside of the tank, you'll also have your fill line. See, my water line comes up here and just screws onto the bottom of the tank. Sometimes that's just a finger tight connection. We'll see here, finger tight, got it. So this is where you find out if your shutoff valve works. So now, since I do have one of the nuts removed, it's a lot easier to get on the nut with the proper size wrench. So I was able to go find that this is a 13mm size nut. So I'll use the wrench rather than the adjustable. Adjustables are great when you don't know what size you're going for, but the proper size wrench is always better when you know. So get this wrench on there. Yeah, broke loose. If I can get my bit on there. Come on. Okay. So now we've got, again, a nut and a spacer. Okay, now with the bolts loose and the water unhooked, should be able to just lift this right off, like so. Okay, what you can see here on the bottom side, we have a very large nut that holds this flapper assembly in. Most of you are not going to have a wrench big enough to fit that. They do make one sell in the plumbing department, but I'll show you how to improvise. Just get a screwdriver, flat screwdriver. This is, and just tap on it if you have a hammer. But I don't have my hammer up here. But just gonna tap on that. You can see it's turning. You see it turning there. So you don't always have to run out and buy all the latest tools just to get a simple little project done. Okay, so that comes off like that. We are going, this is the bottom of the fill assembly. We'll go ahead and remove it as well while we've got this upside down. See if we can get it. And all this stuff is just barely more than hand tight. It's all rubber seals on the upper side. So okay, and these are the two bolts that bolt you down to the rest of the toilet. So now, okay, we can unhook this. Should have a new one in the kit. Okay, so the whole flapper assembly, you see that's got a rubber seal that seals to this inside surface. Same thing here, rubber seal seals on the inside of the hole there. Okay, this 3-inch kit comes with some extra tools as well. It's got the big wrench I would have needed to take off the flapper assembly, which I'll use that to reassemble. Also has another wrench here. So this is the universal everything complete toilet tank repair kit for 3-inch. 7-year warranty. Okay, back to here. Need that later. This comes off. We put the flapper assembly through the hole. Make sure it's got a rubber seal here on the inside. Flapper assembly goes in the hole. Rotate it where it's not hitting anything, like that bolt there. Put the nut on the bottom side. Now, wrench that's included, this side fits there. We don't want to over tighten. Like I said before, it's just a, you just have to compress that rubber seal on the top side just a little bit. So I'm just pushing with like one finger here, maybe a couple extra little taps. Don't want it to move around, but if you over tighten, you will cause problems, just the same as under tightening. Now, we have the fill valve. rubber seal here. Go through the hole. You'll have a wing nut. That will go on the bottom side. So we'll stick this in the hole. Try to get some sort of a view here. Now this has to operate freely. It's got to float up and down. That has to work. We'll have a tube on here. So we want to find the best orientation. I think there's going to be a tube going from here into here. And that's out of the way of the lever. So we'll go for this orientation. So I'll kind of hold that there. Run the, now this wing nut, flat side to the tank. Get it started, spin it down. And this tightening, since it's a smaller diameter, I'm getting less leverage on it. So I'm tightening it about as tight as I can with my thumb and finger there. Okay. Make sure everything's still good orientation. That's not hitting, that's not hitting. I'll have to hook this chain up into one of these holes here. That'll be a trial and error to get the chain to the right length. It's the way you adjust that chain. As you change it, change its location on this hook here. So I want it to, like I said, trial and error, but I'm going to come down here a little bit. And the goal, you want the chain to catch and open that flapper all the way. That's still too long. Oh, I'm going to go lower on the chain. Say it that way. All right. Now we'll put it through there. Now I don't want the chain to be tight when it's relaxed. I want the flapper to be able to close, but I want it to fully open that flapper when I flush. We'll try it here, see how it works with water in it. We may have to adjust that a little more one way or the other. Okay, other items. You've got the little fill tube here. The piece of hose. That goes on here. This I'm expecting to telescope up somehow. I have to look at the instructions just for a quick second. Yes, it says I rotate this and extend it up. So there, that was kind of hard to rotate at first. It's still not extending. Okay, it's got to be in a certain spot. Extends up. Now the higher, this is going to determine your water level. The higher you go, the higher water level you can have before it overflows back into the tank. So I'm going to go all the way up at first. And then, well, now it doesn't care what orientation it's in. It'll go up and down. I think it was just stiff at first. So that's fine. Then the tube will go here. There should be a little clip to hold the tube like right on the edge. Right here. Okay. So the tube go through here like this. Get it in there good. And then this clip will hold the tube so that it runs. Whenever you flush your toilet, you notice there's a little bit of water coming in the bowl the entire time the tank is filling. That's the water that goes through this tube and continues to kind of clean your bowl as the tank fills. That's what this tube is for. And it gets your bowl back up to its maximum level, up to the top of in the back of your tank. There is a trap. The water level can rise up to the bottom of the lower side of that trap. Anyway, that's what this does. Get your water level back up to the right level in your bowl. I'm sorry, as the tank fills. Okay, so got an adjustment here. This adjusts the float. Turn it. If you want more water in the tank, turn it this way. It's the point basically when the float hits and shuts off the valve here. So it's a combination of where your float sits and how high your stem pipe here is determines how much water you can have in here. Okay, I think it's all together at this point. What's left is this. It goes on the toilet itself. So this goes on here. That's your gasket. Your bolt holes here. Your water line comes up through here. Okay, they also gave me new bolts here to hold the tank on. I like this better. So just because of that, I'm going to just reuse my old setup. I'm not going to use the new bolts. So this one, I'm going to reuse my old bolts. So now, I also have a new lever. Nothing wrong with my old lever. I will leave the oven on there. So we'll put this on the toilet now. A little more sure fit. I put this seal right here on the bottom. Make sure that goes up in there good. Alright, bolts going down through the holes. Now, I had a washer and then the nut. They go on the bottom. I'll get them both started. I should go ahead and spin the nut up snug. Side. See if I can reach it from this way. Yes, I can. Spin that nut up tight. Okay. Now I'm going to snug up the nuts. I don't want to over tighten because you can actually crack your tank. And we want to try to keep it even. I'm going to tighten this one a little bit. Go over here and tighten the other side a little bit. Okay, we got both sides a little tight. Make sure this is snug. It's actually pretty solid right now. I'm just going to give it just a little bit more. I don't want to over tighten. All I have to do is just make this seal. Just make this compress down enough to make a good seal on the bottom. Don't want to over tighten, but I do want to just go a little bit more. Good and solid. So I'm happy with that. Now all I have to do is hook up the water. Remember, I got both the bolts tight. I just tightened them from the bottom side. I didn't have to put a screwdriver on the top. They weren't spinning, so that was not a problem. So that's good. Now what's left is to connect the water. Okay, got the water hose here. It should just, if I find my fill valve. Okay, I don't know if I've got that tight enough or not. Guess one way to find out, turn on the water, is dripping. It is not dripping. Okay. Must be tight enough. All right. Turn on the water. So what I'm doing, I'm going to shut the valve off here. I just want to make sure there's no leaks here on the water line coming in. That all looks pretty good. Okay, let's try it out. We're going to give it a flush. All that seemed to work pretty good. Now this thing here, it determines how fast your bowl refills, or how much your bowl refills. It lets more water through this tube. You can hear it really spraying out there, or I can back it off to very little. Now if you look inside, you probably can't see any water movement there, but that water spraying directly down into the bowl. I want the bowl to fill, you know, to the near the top of the trap, but I don't want it to waste water. I don't want the water just to run over the trap. So it's an adjustment. I can adjust this blue knob up here. See there, it's not filling very much. I'll crack that open a little more. Got more water in here. And the goal is to get the bowl full at about the same time your tank gets full. You can see the water level still rising, but it's full enough. So I'm going to crack it down a little bit, because I'm at this point just running water down the drain. Flush it again. If you ever have like low water, you either got a clog or you're not getting enough water coming into your tube here. So most of them don't have this adjustment. This one does. It's nice. But my bowl is about as full as I want it at this point. My tank is almost full. I'm going to crank that down just a little bit more. Because I want to not waste any water. You can see I have much less water in the bowl, but it's still coming up, still rising, still rising. My tank is almost full. I have about the level I want in my bowl. Perfect. I'm going to leave it right there. So that's how that works.